all you basically do, we're going to disconnect. Is you're going to need one of these removal tools. Sorry, the other end of this white line is going to go right here. So we'll disconnect. This is going to that filter outside there. Disconnect that. We gotta play a drinking game every time I say so. I gotta stop saying that. Turned up full of salt and turned upside down. Okay, today is water filter and recharge day. That is to recharge my water softener to make sure it's all clean and like new again and get all the crime and crap that got caught up in there while filtering hard water at the different RV parks. So we're going to go through that whole process today, as well as change out all these filters. I do this, as I mentioned, about once every 3 months or 4 times a year, about every quarter. Get these all changed out. It depends on the water quality. Even though I can go 1,600 gallons, which takes me about 3 months to do, some parks are so bad I've got to do it a little sooner. So, but let's go through what that process is. And I'm going to try to make it fun, because I know water is kind of a boring thing, but hey, it's important, especially if you want quality drinking water like I do, and you make ice on board like I do. And you want your clothes to come out cleaner like I do. So if all of those things are things that you want, pay attention. We're going to recharge the softener and change all the filters so we can get that quality water. The first step, of course, is to make sure you have all the right filters on hand. So we're going to start with 20 micron that goes out by the hose bib. Then the 5 micron, which goes right here. Then we go to the 1 micron, which will go inside there, which we're going to show you here in a minute. And then a 1/2 micron, which is the last filter, that goes right here on the factory filter. So we go from 20 to 5 to 1 to a 1/2 micron. So these are all the filters that I use on my unit, along with my water softener. But first we're going to recharge the water softener, then we're going to put these filters in place and switch out the ones that are there. Let's get started on the recharge. So to recharge the system, you're going to need a couple things. First, you're going to need a discharge hose, so all the crappy salty water that's cleaning everything out will come out of. We'll let that just drain down into the gravel. That won't hurt anything there. You don't want to really pour this on the grass. While it probably won't kill the grass, too much salt is probably not good for the root system. So put it either down your sewer drain or in the gravel or something like that is fine. You're going to need a special little hose, and this came with my Pro Aqua water softener. And with these connections, I did add these, and I'll show you how these fit in a moment. And then the important thing, you're going to need 2 of these salt containers, or 26 ounces of regular plain table salt. Now, the last time I did this, I used those little pellets that you get in the 40-pound bags for water softeners, and that worked out okay. However, it took almost an hour to dissolve all those things. And not that time is an issue here, but somebody suggested after watching a YouTube video that table salt will do the same thing, but in half the time. So I thought, let me give it a try and see how that works. And if it works great and it stays clean, okay, we got a winner. Otherwise, I'm going to go back to the other system, but I thought I'd give it a try. So let's get started on doing that. Okay, here I am inside the basement where the filter or pre-filter is for the water softener, and that's what we're going to use to recharge. And then we of course have the Pro Aqua water softener right here. So I'm going to do the best job I can filming this and doing the work. I have to admit it's going to be a little difficult with one hand, but I'll do my best. But basically what we're going to do is I'm going to show you, and then you're going to see me cutting back and forth after I've made some changes. But we're going to take this filter off, drain the water out, take the filter out, and then we're going to fill all of this up with salt. I'm going to undo this bungee cord and I'm going to flip it upside down. Then I'm going to disconnect, well, before I do that, I'm going to disconnect this line that's going in here, and this little hose here I'm going to connect into here and have it go into the exit. And then that yellow hose, which is up over there, I'm going to connect to the input of the water softener, and I'm going to shoot it out that door and have it drip into the gravel. Now, the flow of the water that has to go through here is very small. It's about the size of a pencil. You don't want to put a lot of water pressure in here. So you just barely turn the water on. And you'll see a little later I'll be demonstrating that as well. But that's kind of the process. It's pretty simple. Pretty simple. Not a lot to it. But let's go ahead and get started. So again, I'm going to kind of cut back and forth as I do this because I'm here by myself. So it's really nowhere for me to mount the camera while I'm doing all this work inside here. So bear with me. Okay. As you see, I got the filter cover off. The one thing I forgot to mention is you're going to need one of these removal tools. That was a booger to get off. So you're going to need to have that with you. In fact, I should probably just leave that one here. I've got a couple of them. So then it's always here. But at any rate, so now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to disconnect this input here. Again, I have my quick connects, and then we're going to connect in the discharge. So that's going to, as you see, that line goes out the door and it's going to drop out in the gravel. You can see the yellow line straight through there. So this line here, we are going to disconnect it right here at this line here now, which was this line that we just disconnected from the water softener. We're going to disconnect and put in one end of this. So let me see if I can do this with one hand. Get that off of there. And sorry if this is not turning out. Hey, I got it on. Now the other end of this, white line is going to go right here. So we'll disconnect. This is going to that filter outside there. Disconnect that. Just set that aside. And connect this to there. So now the water's going to come in. We're going to fill this full of salt, turn that canister upside down. The water's going to trickle in here and go in the exit of the water softener, go through the water softener, clean it, discharge it, and it's going to go out the discharge out that door. So hopefully this will go faster than those pellets that I talked about, and we're going to use those little jars of salt. Now I know I'm going to need two hands for that, so I'm going to set the camera down and we're going to come back to that in a second. So we got to play a drinking game every time I say so. I got to stop saying that. Anyway, here we are. I've got the filter turned up full of salt and turned upside down. Just a little FYI, when you fill the salt up, you want to go about an inch underneath the O-ring. And once it's settled in there, you see there's about 2 inches at the top of salt. Okay, and we have the white line now that's going to the exit of the water softener, and the entrance of the water softener is going to be draining out the door. So this line's still got a little water in there. It's dripping, so I just put a towel there to catch those drips. So now let's get out, turn on the water, and make sure we got the right water flow coming out of the hose. And we'll let that go through till all this salt is gone. Let's see how long it takes. Back on till we get a little trickle. So let's see what we get here. That's about right. Again, we just want a little trickle, kind of like a pencil diameter water coming out. Okay, I think we have the right flow now. We can see it's gone down quite a bit for me just adjusting it. And there's a little too much salt on the ground. So that dissolves a lot faster than the pellets, like the other guy said on the YouTube video. Let's see if it's just as effective. So we got a steady, even flow coming out down there. Most of the salt has been dissolved. There's still quite a bit in there. So we're going to let that go for 20-30 minutes. Well, until I stop seeing salt in the filter. Then we know it's kind of all dissolved and going through. Then we'll let it rinse for a little bit more. I'd say about 10 minutes longer. And then we'll connect everything back up. Run the water for a few minutes to make sure there's no salty taste in the water. And then we'll test the water and make sure we're all good to go. So we've been draining now for about 25-30 minutes. And you're probably asking yourself, Jeff, how do you know when it's done? Because when you look at the filter, it's crystal clear water. There's no more salt in there at all. So the easiest way I do, I don't know if this is the right way, but it's the way I do it, is I go down here, put my fingers right there and taste it. If it tastes salty, let it go a little more. If it doesn't, you're done. And I don't taste any salt anymore. Maybe a slight bit, not much. So I'm going to let it run for another 10 minutes, and then I'm going to shut it off, connect everything back the way it was, change all these external filters, and then we're done. So I'll show you that step next. Okay, we're back inside. It appears all the salt is gone. Just tasted the water coming out, and I really don't detect any more salt in it. So now we're going to disconnect all this and put it back to the way it was originally. So again, I'm by myself and nowhere to really mount a camera here. So bear with me. First thing I'm going to do is take this water canister or filter canister. So now we're inverted back correctly, and you'll see all the salt is gone. So now it's time to change everything back and put the new filters in. So these inline filters are pretty easy to replace. All you basically do, we're going to disconnect. Spin this off of here. And we'll take this quick disconnect off of here. And we'll put it on the new one. Don't forget to remove the plastic caps. I'll give that a little tight. Another plastic cap. Slide that back on. We're done. Put the plastic caps on the old one. That job's done. So now all we have to do is turn on the water and check for leaks. No leaks here. Seems all real dry. Go back to the water bay. New filter here. It's all dry. And then inside here. So, looks like everything's dry in here as well. When they connect it back up, new filters in. So I think we're good. Another job done. So that job is done. Wasn't too hard. I will say the table salt, yes, it went faster than the pellets. However, it clumps up a lot, and I just didn't like the way that worked. I think I'm going to go back to the pellets. For me anyway, I liked it. Yes, it takes twice as long than the table salt, but I didn't like all that clumping up and stuff. When I thought it was done and I went to change the filter, I didn't get it on camera, I'm sorry, but those little clumps of salt that just popped off when I took that canister off. I didn't have that with the pellets, so I think I'm going to stick to the pellets. That, for me at least, works a little bit better. So if you have any questions, please leave the comments below. I'd be happy to answer any of the questions you might have about this water system, or my filtration system, as well as my water softener. So now, let's get into the Patriot games. Remember, put the season 2 dot and episode number. You don't need to put any other letters or numbers or things next to it or description like a couple of you have done. Just put 2 point whatever episode this is. And also, don't forget to not leave your answer down below, but put it in the contest page in the link below that says Patriot Game Contest. So it's basically mybucketlistday.com/contest. So it's in the link below. So click on that, enter your guess, and good luck. Now, let's roll this video. This was an interesting location. I enjoyed it a lot. So again, hit the link below to enter the contest and put your guess where you think it is right there. Remember, it's an area or a place, not a city or a state. So make sure you put that answer in there clearly. And don't forget, hit that little icon over there, the little like button, as well as subscribe button, and the little bell if you want to be notified when the next video is released. And it would really help me out a lot if you just left a comment below, even if you just said hello, things like that. That helps me with the YouTube algorithms, and I really appreciate that. Thanks, and make it a great day.